Don't get your fingers in the hole and this thing falls down. It ain't through yet. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. Hey, it's cold out here, but you know what? We have to do something on the tractor that just has to be done. Have you ever had a grease fitting that won't take grease? We're gonna show you how to fix that today. Hey, I'm gonna grab my pants. It is absolutely, I've got my winter pants in the truck. I'm gonna put them on. It's cold out here. Cold, 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 cold. So we've got a couple of problems here in these two grease fittings. These grease fittings will not take grease. I'm gonna kind of walk you through what I do to see if I can get that cleared up. This is something that you have to stop now. If you don't get the grease fittings fixed, you'll wear these pins out way faster than you possibly would think. You can literally cause the pins to get oblong and get slack in your loader within just a few hours of not having grease in them. So let me kind of talk you through the steps. So the first thing we got here is a heavy duty grease gun with a long handle, and the long handle is going to allow you to have more pressure. Generally, I grease my tractor with a pistol grip type grease gun, and those are fast and they're agile, and it allows you to use the grease gun with one hand, but they don't give you the same type of pressure as a lever type grease gun. This is going to be considerably more pressure. So let's move on to the next thing. So the first thing I want to do before we start is just to make sure that the grease fittings are clean. Now, each time that I grease my tractor, I absolutely make sure that these grease zerks are clear. You got to make sure that the tops of them are, you know, it would be better if you could get all the nastiness out of there. But when you're in the field like this, you just don't have the opportunity. So you get it as clean as you can. So you can see these little grease zerks here. We're going to get all that out as we can and make sure that the very tip of it's clean. And then we're going to see if we can force grease through it. And if you can, then your problem is solved. If not, the next thing we're going to do is probably pull the grease fittings out themselves and replace the grease fittings. And then if that doesn't fix it, then the next step is you got to pull the pin and see what's going on. So this type of adapter, it's got a locking mechanism that makes it really easy. You put it on the grease fitting and you rotate it and it clamps it down. And that's going to allow you to use both hands. So we got that nice and tight. This grease fitting would not take grease at all. You got one in it. So that's one fix right there. Now you want to make sure, like on a pistol grip like this, is when you push in and you let go, if it springs back, that means you're really not getting the grease in there. You're just creating pressure in your hose. And then when you move your hand, it pushes this back open. So in this case, it absolutely did a good job. Now this was the one that was, I know that it would not take grease at all. See how it popped back open? So that grease fitting is not taking grease. The fact that this grease is cold is not your friend either. I'm just going to keep pumping. See if I can get it to push through and get a little bit more grease. We're talking about, this is probably about 3,000 PSI. It's just not going to happen. So our next step on this, we ended up pushing a bunch out around it. So our next step on this one is we're going to pop this grease zerk loose. And I still have a feeling that it's going to be the pin. We're going to have to pull the pin out, and yeah, that's not near as much fun as you might think. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my forks, get them out of the way, get the weight off of this, because I'm going to try the grease fitting, replacing it, or I'm just going to pull it out and see if grease goes through the grease fitting. It's possible that the interior of that grease fitting, like a spring, is collapsed, and that could be a possibility that's blocking it. Reality is most likely is the pin has smeared over the grease port. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you that in a minute. Yep, it's an 8. It came right out. I love having gloves on in the winter, but I have never been able to work with gloves in the winter. Had more traffic today. So this is the grease fitting, and if you see right here, there's a little BB in the end of it, and this is a spring-loaded BB that pushes the BB out. So when the grease forces in, it pushes the BB back and lets the grease go through the port, and then when you take your grease gun off, it pushes the little BB back out, and it blocks off any like harmful materials like mud, grease, rocks, little things getting into the grease port. So that's pretty much the makeup of a grease zerk. Again, I'm pretty sure that the grease zerk is not what's wrong, but we're going to try it anyway. I think out of all of my career, possibly one time that the grease zerk was actually bad. Yeah, nothing wrong with the grease fitting. It's always a hope. So the next thing we got to do is remove the pin. So the stronger grease gun did have one positive effect, that it did keep me from taking this pin out. So this pin was not taking grease. I had 2 pins that I greased it one day, and we did a lot of nasty, dirty work, and then these 2 pins wouldn't take grease again. So the next time I went to grease it, these 2 pins wouldn't take grease. What's the odds of 2 doing it at once? Must be some fine dirt or something I got into, some fine muck, but it also was lifting really heavy stuff. That's another thing I was doing. So this is the pin that we're going to take out, the bottom one, and it has basically it's just a retaining bolt here. Theoretically, this pin should just push right through. And in my experience, that's not the case. So I think we'll get it out. This has a carriage bolt on the inside here. It holds it in place, so when you get to the last part of the thread, you may have to pull that carriage bolt out to make it stay in the groove. All right, so that carriage bolt is loose. So theoretically, this pin should just slide right out. So when you do this, try to take this pin out, you want to make sure that your cylinders are not pulled all the way back or pushed all the way forward, because it puts the whole system in a bind. So I've got the cylinders pushed out about, I don't know, about half an inch out. So that leaves some free play in this. It's not locked down. If you try to do it with the cylinders pulled one way or another, you're never getting these pins out. So what I'm going to do is just tap it with the crescent wrench, and you don't want to just beat the crap out of this, because you'll mar these ends and you'll never get it off. This is just love taps. And it's moving, so I'm going to go ahead and get the right tools and go at it.
Gizmo, what are you doing?
Gizmo, hey buddy. You king of the mountain? All right, so here's what we got going on. So this is the grease where the grease zerk goes in that pin, and I'm in the field. We don't have the tools that we need here. Generally, I never have all the tools you need. You know, at a shop, I would have brass strips and all the bells and whistles. Well, in this case, I want to punch this out. I don't want to damage this outside, because if we mar this outside at all, the pin won't go through. So what I've got is a hardened bolt that's going to go inside here. It's going to allow me to punch this pin through, but it's not going to damage the threads before the zerk goes in, and it's not going to damage the outside. So we have to adapt and overcome. And then I got my little ball peen hammer here. Now, obviously, I'll never use that bolt again. All right, if you look here, you can see I've got this pin coming out, and it's dry. It's right here, it's bone dry. So we're gonna keep pecking this out. Now, I don't really want to go all the way out, because if you put the pin all the way out, that means you're gonna have to get this realigned. So I'm just gonna keep tapping it and try to get it to the point where I can see the hole where the grease comes out. As you're doing this, don't get your fingers in the hole, because this thing can fall down, especially the bigger pieces of equipment you are. This is not that big, but as you get to the bigger tractors, this stuff weighs a lot, and you can literally chop your fingers off if you've got a finger in a hole and this thing falls down. There it went, it fell right out.
You hear the neighbor's dog? You do? Yeah. You sweet boy. The mama loves you.
So this is the pin we just took out, and you can see here that just in that one time of not greasing it, it's still in good shape. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's dry. That's how dry, how quickly it gets dried. If you look right here, there's a tiny round circle, and there's dirt that's pushed backwards into the hole this way. So what happens is there's huge amounts of pressure on this pin as it turns around. It literally can pack dirty grease and goo into that hole to the point where the grease zerk can't push it out, or the grease can't push through. And sometimes you'll even see where there's a small hole that the pin will actually mar over, and the metal will close the hole off. In this case, it's just press dirt into the little hole. So we should be able to put a grease zerk in this and push that right out, reinstall this pin. But unless you pop that pin loose, it's not happening. Countersunk grease fittings are really nice because it keeps you from breaking the little grease zerks off. But when you go to try to put them back on, they're not near as much fun. There we go. Got it started. Alright. Alright, so we're going to take the grease gun, put on that, lock this dude down. And I'm going to try to make it so you guys can see what's going to happen. So we're going to pull it back and see if we can push that through. That dude is full. Clogged up. Okay, I'm going to have to get a drill bit put in it. So this is what I'm going to do. You can see here, I got one of these little tiny screwdrivers. And I'm going to dig through this hole, and look how, it's amazing. Look at that, how hard that is. It's like a carbon buildup almost. And this is just missing one greasing. That's why I say you have to stop. When it won't grease, you have to stop. And Tanya brought out a point that maybe we were working around sawdust a lot. I don't know if sawdust had worked its way back in and pushed it in there. That's a possibility. Oh, look at there. There was pressure inside. There was pressure inside that pin, because whenever I got past that point, it popped grease out. Look at that. So I believe we've won. Another reason this is kind of looks as rough as it does is because this problem arose, and then we had to go. We went to the National Farm Machinery Show, so this thing's been sitting out in the weather for 3 weeks while we were gone, because we were gone for 7 days, and we left before and came back later. All right, so we'll try this again. I believe we got a winner now. Again, we're gonna put the grease fitting on there, tighten it down. I'll set it over here where you can see it. Oh, look at that. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now that's the easy part. Now we gotta get that pin back in. Again, these pins, you wanna be very, very cautious about putting these pins in and putting your fingers in these holes. Something falls down and it literally can put so much pressure that it's just like a clamp that just clamps your finger clean off. So can't reiterate that enough. Yeah. So I'm probably going to lower that down a little bit so I have enough leverage to pick it up. Probably going to need a pry bar too. Change that angle a little bit. That may give me some leadway. So I've got this pin here, and I'm going to put a little grease on it. Just give it a good coating. I guess there's no sense in worrying about having greasy hands now. Just go with it. There, yeah. So the pin is relatively clean. I could have polished this up, but again, I'm in the field. I don't have all my tools. I don't have the things that I need. Wouldn't mind having a nice little A little bit of sandpaper. I'm not going to say it because it's only halfway in. I'm going to say it. That went in way easier than I thought it was going to. Now it probably won't go through. It ain't through yet. Oh my goodness. All right, where's the bolt now? Lost my nut. There it is. I lost my nut. So now for all that work, let's see if this is gonna do us any good. Well, that makes sense. Here we go. Oh, grease went right in. It's not pushing back out. And we're gonna give it a watch for. Yeah, I see grease coming out everywhere, on both sides. Guys, we are going to wrap this up, finish up the greasing this tractor up. I hope this video helps. I know it's something kind of small, but if you've never done it before, you've never done it before. Those kind of the steps you need to go through to clear a pin. Again, I want to make sure that you understand as you're removing these pins, never get your fingers in these holes because the equipment can shift and literally cut your fingers off just instantaneously. Seen it done before. I just want to reiterate that over and over again. But hey, I thank you for watching our channel, and if you like what we do, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. We're really trying to grow our channel, and that means the world to us. God bless. Have a great day.